Hello guys, welcome to my channel for new battle report. So first game for me on Warhol. Maybe I would have liked to try it before on a tournament, but that's how it is sometimes. You don't have the time to test it before, so it was a bit new. Definitely I was sometimes a bit confused in comparison with UB, but yeah, it was definitely an enjoyable experience, and yeah, I love it. Definitely a big shout out to the guys from Warhol. Having done already this amazing job, and really looking forward to, for example, modelization of the ID. But yeah, good job guys, it was really a pleasure to play on it. Especially there are so many cool features that makes life easier and games faster, which is definitely a good thing, because these online games can go sometimes for ages, because you can check so many things, do so many things. It can last forever, so I'm happy when it is a bit faster. So the list is the same. Maybe as a reminder, this is second game. I won the first one. It was a close battle, but since it's a 1-0 system, I was with 1 win and 0 losses. And on the other game, my opponent here, Mac Making, say hello to him by the way, because I know he's watching, lost his first game against Hugh. It was also an interesting game with a lot of fights. So this is the second game, and I knew I needed here to catch. I wanted to get a second win to try to get closer to the qualification for the knockout stage. So this was the list of Mac Making. Basically, I took some time to analyze stuff, but sometimes it's even not enough. Even if you spend time, sometimes you still miss things. So here, in this case, what I noticed, has only 4 scoring units, and has only overall, I mean, there is a ton of character that gives plenty of boost. So you have 2 times a prelate that go into electoral craft to get hatred. There is 1 unit with speed sender with knight commander that can use the order, so they can go charge, I think, 9 swift ride and get to advance 20. So very impressive for cavalry. There is MR3 to get some protection against magic missile that can target cavalry, for example, alchemy. And there is also the Light of the Sonnstahl, which is always a good weapon, and also Locket of Suna to take some challenges. So definitely all the possible tools that you can get to make this cavalry as effective as possible. And with cavalry pick, it was also worth mentioning that they don't suffer from this effect of cavalry charging, being very strong, and then when they are stuck in combat, they're in problem. Here in this case, basically it's always strength 4, AP 3, and then you have a lot of ways. I mean, you can get reroll to wound from the prelate, you can get some buffs from divination, so definitely you have ways to support and make this cavalry very effective. I found that quite impressive. Then we have double Sun Griffins, 1 time with Lance, 1 time with Albert, 2 Raiders, a Chaff, and a Steam Tank. So basically there are 5 main threats, because all the characters are going to be within the electoral cav unit. So you have 5 units in this list, more or less, and 2 pieces of chaff, which is quite a short list. But definitely there are some bodies and a lot of health points in the unit, so you need really to take them down to take the points. And it's not easy to grab a lot of points out of this army if you don't go in combat, basically. So yeah, here as a reminder, you have all the homework that I did before the game, more or less. I like to do this because, if you're not familiar with the list, an example in this case, as I've told you in the introduction video, I'm not so familiar with the 3 list that I'm facing in the group stage. So yeah, it's good to just do again the homework, write stuff down, and when I'm writing down, I think it helps a little bit to put that in your head. But because basically during the game, often I don't have time to read that again. It's more like before the game to pay attention to some stuff. We played Dawn Assault map A5, and it was breakthrough. I decided to go, I think it was pretty straightforward, Twisted Effigy to neutralize a little bit divination. A fly is always cool, especially when you play breakthrough, because it has a lot of units, like I said, so I can always fly to some position around units. It can't really cover all the battlefield. Then we have War Save buff, always useful for close combat. Toxic Breath is obviously amazing in this game. Mark for Doom was good for the tank and the dummies. And then we have Grave Call, also always nice. If I can fly, get into nice position with the bull, then maybe I might use Grave Call. And strength 6 AP 3 can do some damage to cavalry as well. And Hereditary's Magical Heirloom. My opponent decided obviously to take double range damage that is very effective against my list, Fate Judgment and Earring Strike, then Hard Target, Distracting and Star Line. and he has 2 times the blessings. Matchup analysis. So here, yeah, a low scoring number, meaning he needs to. It's hard to fight with some and try to break with other. He will need to bring the fight near my deployment zone to get a breakthrough. Basically, I have some possibility to overwhelm him because I have so many units on the board. I might try to find some flank. Try to to look for combat where I can be in a position to be 2 against 1, more or less. I have some tools versus this high armored list. I have occultism, I have the new volcanic embrace that works really well against a high armored unit, some strength 6 stack, and obviously the bastion shot that I also expect a lot from, because it can do some damage, even against 1-up. I mean, it can do some damage because I wound on 2-up against electoral cav, which is really good. Master Divination, I cannot take 6 turns of range damage. I mean, it's too dangerous for me with Kadim Titan, Kadim Chariot, and Great Bull of Shamut, so I will need to put space between Titan and the Bull to force him to make choice, either go for the left or the right to target one of these, but then not being able to kill one and then straight next round target the other one. Try to put some space between both. And obviously Twisted Effigy will be my friend against Divination. Game plan, more or less clean chaff, try to create opening either by using Vassal's chaff, or the Bastion unit as well. I know that Bastion and the Anointed Star can take a charge. He can charge me. If I have proper counter charge with hard hitting pieces, should be fine. So that's the idea. Deployment. So my opponent won the roll for size. He took bottom, which was, I agree, the best part of the board. I would have maybe cut the other way around, but that's a detail. And yeah, he decided to go like this. So to basically, I told him you can start to deploy. He put a Raider unit, I put a Vassal, he put a second Raider, I put another Vassal, and then he put some, I guess, some cavalry here on the hill. Then I put the Anointed, and then he decided to drop the rest to start the game. So he put second dummies here, dummies here, Electoral Cav with 4 characters within, so everybody except the Prelate with Hero's Art who is here, and then you have the Sim Tank here on the right. And what I decided to go was, it was interesting. I debated a little bit before the game about that. Like, is it worth it or not to put somebody in ambush? Because with Dawn Assault, basically, I could put somebody in ambush on this side of the board. And I decided, you know what, my battle line is quite packed already with Dawn Assault. So let's try to put the 24 Vassals in ambush. Just try to, give him an additional choice. If I ambush like that, I can be pretty easily into deployment zone, and if he needs to focus, I mean, considering the fact that he has only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units that can really deal with them, if he needs to turn around the steam tank or big cavalry to deal with a couple of vassals, then I will be more than happy. So that was the idea. And like I often say, I like to give as much choice to make to my opponents, because that's how they are going to make mistakes. At one point, I mean, if you have too many decisions to take, you are likely to do sometimes a bad decision. So I put the second unit, the unit of 3 Torque Anointed, that didn't have really much to do in this game, because against so much armor they are not that good, so that's not a good game for them. But I thought with the mobility I can either go around, try to break through here, or I can cut short and come here, try to support with flank charges, or even go for a breakthrough here in this area. So I thought this position was quite interesting. I put the Bull behind the Chariot to get to avoid him getting the +1 against Gigantic with the Steam Tank, because this is large, this is Gigantic. So this is like a soft cover, meaning there is no +1 to hit for the cannon. I just checked before where he can move to shoot at me, to just make sure that he won't see more half than my base. Just try to protect as much as I can my Great Bull, since the rocks and stuff don't allow me to really hide my big pieces. Then I have 20 vassals, Anointed Star, Vassal Conjurer here in back. Since all his range damage need a line of sight, I felt fine to be here in the back, and wanted to obviously target these pieces with Ravenswing, which is only a range of 18, so I needed to be close. And then we have the Bastion unit and Kadim Titan here. The idea, I felt fine with Kadim Titan versus 4 dummies, because I thought he can move forward, I can shoot, I can use the impassable to my advantage to make him minimize the model in contact if he charge. So I thought that was quite interesting. to put him in that position, and then if he decided to go for the center, can always cause him some trouble and continue to shoot with the Kadim Titan. And also then, yeah, I know the Divination Mage was in this unit, so he would be able to move toward the center and see me, but I thought after the first turn I could move to the side, if he, depending what he does, maybe use the Impassable also to hide a little bit from Divination Magic. So let's move on to his turn 1. Decided to move like that, so he pushes forward with both Writer unit, to my surprise, to chaff my entire battle line more or less, and also make sure that my vassal cannot move out. So I thought that was, yeah, it's obviously a weakness of my list. The chaff pieces are blocks, so they don't have the mobility of a light cavalry, so they cannot move out and come around to chaff. So I knew my chaff was kind of trapped with this move, but at the same time that requires him to sacrifice both pieces of chaff on turn 1, which is never something, yeah, it could be something we like to do, but in this case he wasn't able to push that much to really take advantage from this early chaff, in my opinion. We decided to put the Divination Mage here, I guess, to stay out of combat and continue to cast spell, but yeah, at the same time it's kind of risky because I can shoot at him and also target him with like Mark for Doom, so this is a slight risk because of the mismatching size this unit. And here to the left he decided I'm not going to be scared by the charge of Kadim Titan, so he pushed forward 14. I think, yeah, that was the right decision because I'm never going to charge. I let the space open just to maybe made him think I would like to charge, but in this case I prefer to shoot, definitely. And he decided not to move the steam tank to not get the -1 for movement to shoot with the cannon on my Kadim Titan, because he see my flank, so he can get a +1 and hit me on, I guess, 4+, long range but gigantic, so maybe even 3+. So yeah, an easy shot, so maybe that can do some damage. In the magic phase, I straight use my Binding Scroll on an Heroic Strike because I cannot afford him to cripple too much my Kadim Titan and then be really weak and allow him to come around the flank. So I used the Binding Scroll on that, and with 7 dice against 5 I dispel Fate Judgment, so he wasn't scared with the big card to cast 5 dice at it. Then he tried to, yeah, he put reroll to hit for the shoot of the tank, and put also Distracting Hard Target onto the dummies. Shooting, unfortunately for him, he rolled a 1 and a 1, meaning he cannot reroll a misfire, so then he cannot shoot the rest of the game, which was very positive news for me, obviously. And let's move on to my turn 1. So yeah, now I can move more freely with the bull as well. So I double charge with vassals. I consider the fact that after I can always react and either flee or overrun. I have a lot of options. I just make sure here that I have flank sight with the Anointed. I'm enough back that he cannot charge me, and I can get a good counter charge if he decided to go against the Bastion. Obviously I expected quite a lot from the 20 shots plus stand and shoot against them in case they charge me. That's 40 shots on a 5 up, 2 up. He save on a 4 up, so on average should do 5 to 6 wounds, which would be really good because before combat you have 1 rank less plus a counter charge. I could possibly deal with them without too much problem. So I just make sure I charge them and then make sure that I can just restrain to free the charge to the flank and just reform them looking at the flank to add some additional rank just to break his steadfast basically. So that was the idea. And here to the right, yeah, I decided to do the same. If he charge me, I can always flee. I can possibly overrun to try to create stuff because he hasn't too many units on the right side of the board, so still have a couple of options. On the left I did what I explained you, so minimize. If he charge me, only 1 model gets to fight me, that's enough, and I can shoot him. I'm just in long range, so it will be hard to hit them because of the -1. It's only 6 up to hit. What I could have done, maybe should have done, is just position the Kadim Titan around here to have a look at the mage, and at the same time kind of give a front to them, and also get a possible counter charge onto the cavalry boss if they charge me. I think somehow it should have been possible to find a position slightly back here, looking front, and just being able to counter charge them if they come against my boss. And also, yeah, what I messed up, I was playing at the beginning in 2D because I wanted to, I was in a safe zone. It was like UB, and then I thought that thing is a field. It wasn't clear to me that it was a forest. And when I moved to 3D at the beginning of my turn, or during his turn, I thought, oh, that's a forest, and the majority of this unit is within the forest. So fortunately for me, I could move sideways and move out of the forest with the majority of the model, to not get like no steadfast or stuff like that. So yeah, fortunately for me, no big consequences here. Obviously, I would have deployed slightly more to the left and maybe move, rather than 1.5 to the side, maybe slightly backways, to just get a bit more space between him and me, and more space here also, possibly. So yeah, that was a slight mistake, but fortunately I was able to correct that. Yeah, like I said, a bit too used to UB. And here to the right, yeah, I was able to get some good positions, still quite far away, but Chariot within 18 to get the Toxic Breath, Great Bull within 24 to get some Mark for Doom. And yeah, maybe I could have been slightly more forward, but I wanted to keep some distance just to avoid him getting some early charges on maybe Great Bull, or you never know. You never know. I mean, you can always like challenge. Yeah, it's not a big danger. Maybe Great Bull could have moved slightly forward because I'm not too afraid of them. I don't think he would have charged, but yeah, I still wanted to keep some distance. Also in regard to divination being here, I don't know. In the magic phase, I get Mark 4 Doom off against the tank, did 1 wound, then he dispels the Toxic Breath, and that's it for magic. I shoot at dummies, get 1 hit on 6 up, but then he save it, so I did nothing. And with Bastion unit shooting at the cavalry, I did like 1 hit, he did 1 save, so I did nothing. Close combat, 1 unit I killed 4, 1 unit I killed 2, he fled with both, I restrained with both. That was the idea. His turn 2, so he took some charges. First charge was the big block against the Bastion. I think that was expected. So I stand and shoot. I killed 2 this time, but still that's not a lot. Before combat he will be able, with the fighting extra rank rule, to get a lot of attack from this unit, so that might be too much for the Bastion. Also worth noticing the fact that he took the charge first against the Vassal boss with that unit. No, with that unit, sorry, took the charge against the Vassal boss, decided to flee. It was a front. I thought, yeah, depending, I think it would have been a bit painful if he goes here, and then second unit here, and can just like chaff for the Anointed in the front. You never know. Maybe I could have stayed as well, but then he decided to go on the other direction. Also, I casted Twisted Effigy last round. I put on them -1 movement, but still on a 9 Swift Stride, he was able to contact the second unit of Vassal. But I thought, yeah, that's just better for me here, because I had plenty of stuff ready to counter charge. He was still far away with Steam Tank and stuff. So yeah, I thought let's stay on this one. Here I could flee to safety. Maybe I could have stayed also like that, but all these pieces were so far away. I would have only the Anointed to counter charge, and him being here with double cavalry plus dummies, I thought I would have been in hot water, like we say. I could have fled that one as well. That was also definitely a possible decision. I thought either he will go, he need a 9 Swift Stride or 8 to go out of line of sight, or he just reforms and then I get some good charges. So, and the rest was still quite far behind. Yeah, and dummies to the side, push, and here to my surprise he moved Divination guy, tried to get spell at me, but he's out of the unit, meaning I will be able to shoot at him next round, which will be also interesting for me. And yeah, the Steam Tank didn't move much. He didn't want to go within range to get charged by his stuff, like combination of Chariot and Bull or stuff like that. Yeah, and regarding Raiders, I think that unit was able to rally, second one continued to fled. Magic Face, so an Earring Strike against Kadim Titan, I was able to dispel it. Then he tried to put a reroll to wound on this cavalry. I think it was cast, he failed scrying in a bubble, and then he got also Starline, I think on this unit, to get the reroll on the second round of combat. I think that was the idea. In close combat he put almost all his attack to kill the Bastion, and he made sure that he can kill it. So Bastion died, I lost a couple of guys but not much, and obviously due to the Infernal brand rule I was able to be steadfast. And on the second combat Basically what he was able to do was to break me, pass the restraint check, and reform in a way that it would chaff the Anointed, which was kind of smart, I think, to avoid me going in his flank. But yeah, that's also something I need to precise here. When he declared the charge here, I saw that with the demis, he could easily march 14, be here in the front of my Anointed, just to make sure that I cannot charge in the flank. But still could have been interesting because the reform were kind of complicated because of the impassable for him. So maybe it would have been slightly better to just flee that one and make sure that I can charge dummies and take them out of the way and threat either that way or that way. I think I had still maybe better option to do if I fled that one, because he couldn't have really chaffed my possibility to charge him in the flank, which is potentially game breaking. So my turn 2, and here this is the second mistakes. What I think it was related to UB, because yeah, there is no sign for champion. You need to zoom to see the little skull to see the champion, and I was definitely not used to that. Also, I didn't notice that there is, the character, I missed that, so I charged with the bull and chariot, and that's only after that I noticed that, there is a champion that can challenge the bull, and I won't be able to break him into round. So that's a big problem. In this case, I decided not to charge with them, but definitely I should have charged with them, just to make sure I can get the challenge with the champion, make way with the BSB, and break him in one go, and just deal with that cav that was like a sacrifice as a chaff. So yeah, that was really, really stupid for me. It was a big mistake. My guys here ambushed. These guys here move slightly backwards, just to put some distance between me and the tank, to force him to go that way or that way, but then I could move one of these two units. Also put myself in a position to get 24 shot against that unit. Just try to force panic check. They have only leadership 7, no reroll, so if I can make them flee would be cool. And here on the left, so yeah, I took some time. I had a lot of options. Basically, it was either continue the minimization game and shoot on the dummies, or move like that and get a shot with no cover against the divination. I thought, it's turn 2. If I deal with divination mage, I will be in a good shape, even if this cost me the Kalim Titan. So I decided to do like that, and I was able to minimize slightly to get him only 3 modern contact and not 4. So that was the best I could do. Rally those guys as well. And here, I don't know why, shitty movement with the vassal. Should have put here in the back. I guess I wanted to get 18 to this unit to fly, but I'm not going to fly this turn because Sim Tank could possibly then come toward me. So I think that was really stupid. Should have put the vassal mage here in the back. Magic phase. So magic phase, I tried to put Toxic Breath onto the chariot, which would have been really, really nice. Obviously my opponent dispels it, then I'm able to get Hereditary to get some reroll to wounds with all this flaming attack. And I failed the ward save onto the Great Bull of Shamut. The Kadim Titan tried to shoot at the mage, did nothing on 5 up, 2 up. I wasn't able to get any hit actually. And then in the close combat, this unit obviously breaks, and here I kill a good amount of bodies, but he's still steadfast. He's able to hold, no problem at all. He gave me this time the prelate in the challenge. Prelate with 4 attack on what was that? 4 up, 5 up, I guess. Did 3 wounds to my Great Pool of Shamut. Passed no ward save, so that was disappointing. And a bit scary for the rest of the game, but yeah, he's still steadfast right now. So this cavalry unit here, Daniel made a mistake. He decided to reform the unit, tried to look at the rest of the battlefield, but forgot that with doing so, he couldn't charge afterwards. So that was a bit problematic for him. So he just moved sideways. Divination Mage was able to get within the unit and get a nice line of sight onto my Conjurer Mage, which was really stupid for me. I kept some distance between me and the Anointed at the moment. Demis pushed forward slightly, and the tank decided to go towards the Vassal, which was fine for me. The guy continued to fled but didn't die due to DT, and the rallied guy that took no wounds, he made like 2-3 save from my shots last round, so yeah, no panic, and was able to move towards the center, which wasn't too enjoyable for me because that's a piece of chaff that can be used again. And here he took the charge against the Titan, obviously. The magic phase, let me see, he put Stars Align, and with the miscast lost 1 wound onto that unit. And then close combat here. We did like like a tie. No, I guess that's this round. I think that's this round that he did 3 wounds to me with the prelate. The round before is the round when I charge and he put me in a challenge with the champion. Sorry. Yeah. But in return, I was able to kill the prelate, so that's at least something. And with the Kalim Chariot, I was able to kill some, but he was still steadfast. So in 2 rounds, I wasn't able to break the steadfast, meaning I'm not free to charge next round. So I'm pinned down, and yeah, that's my mistake. And also here, he was able to get Star Line here on the left, like I mentioned. So that's huge. I dispelled Fate Judgment to avoid losing him, but I think that's another mistake. I should have just let that go. He kills him. Yeah, what? I mean, it's not like he's so much needed. I think Starline was definitely worth dispelling rather than Fate Judgment. I can die, obviously, but Starline is really huge. And in close combat, he did 3 wounds to me. I did 3 wounds in return, meaning I lost by a charge and a standard, and I was able to pass my 5 leadership, which was really lucky. But yeah, it's not going to change that much because he's like reroll to hit, divine attack. So with the dummies, he's doing so many attacks that next round I should be dead. So yeah, that was really stupid to dispel that one. But like I said, it's just a cascade from the bad decision of moving him out of the unit. So yeah, my turn 3, I decided to try to play a little bit better. This time, charge with the Anointed onto the remaining guys. I put the Vassal Conjurer back onto the unit, and now that the Steam Tank moves toward them, I was able to move slightly forward. Yeah, just making sure that he cannot charge me with the demis at the moment, left just a very long charge, and I use my Vassal, activate the Relentless Banner to chaff them. Titan still in combat, here is still in combat. Magic Phase. I dispelled Toxic Breath, I guess, onto the Kalim Chariot. I was able to get flight with them. Raven's Wing, I reformed myself in 2 column and did nothing with the hits, but then was able to chaff 2 units at once, which was nice because you never know what the dummies are going to do next round. They could try a long charge against the bull, they could try a charge against his. You never know. With 3 wounds remaining, I was a bit scared that he might just charge my bull and kill it outright, so I was happy to get double chaff, to just take no risk here. And that's it. I think close combat, the Titan dies. Obviously, I did 2 wounds before, but yeah, I die. Yeah, I think his Starline was huge. Without Starline, to be honest, that wasn't too much of a bad fight, to my surprise. Because yeah, he hits on 4 up, he wounds on 5 up. First round, there were some lances, but that's not a lot of attacks, so it was a better fight than what I expected, and yeah, definitely some bad decision that cost me Kalim Titan, but yeah, I think when you made mistakes, you need to pay the price. Right side, good news is, since I charge much after with the Anointed, now there are not so many bodies, so I'm able to kill all of them. So there is nobody left, there is no flea, other stuff, so that was really positive for me. His turn 4, decided to charge both with Writer and them. I guess either try to overrun with them to block me somehow, or try to double overrun to get toward me, but I think it's rather to overrun to just try to chaff me. Dummies didn't move much, they were in a position to break through easily, but I think what I would have done if I were Daniel is just push 14 to threaten my flank here, because there is nothing threatening him at the moment, and I mean, yeah, that could be like a bit stressful for me to get an additional unit here threatening my flank, so I think that would have been cool. And here you see I'm in a strange position because of the guy dying at different initiative step, agility step. Basically this forced me to nudge to stay in close combat and put me really close, which is problematic sometimes to take charges, we'll see. Yeah, let's move on to Magic Phase. So I tried to put a big Unerring Strike onto my Great Bull of Shamut. I was able to dispel it thanks to, yeah, magical resistance here helps, and it helps even more when you try to cast a big Fate Judgment with 3 dice. So he failed that one, so yeah. Maybe he could have also boosted some combat, try to help, rather than try to finish the bull, but he tried this one and didn't work, luckily for me, so... Close combat, I was very happy because my vassals with paired weapon were able to kill the 3 raiders, which was really nice. And then I fled against them, and he decided to do something I didn't expect, was just to pursue, to finish. He did another run that finished like here, and basically was really odd because it was hard for me to charge with then all 3 units. It was very hard to get into some decent combat. And the solution I figured out, I can already tell it. Yeah, I forgot to mention the steam tank fell just short from my unit, so that was nice. And what had ended up happening is, you need to imagine the dummies are here facing that way. I couldn't really charge with them. The only thing that I could do was charge the best solution I found was charge the chariot in the flank, charge the bull in the flank, and reform them and move forward and minimize the combat, just to make sure if you charge me, then I have 2 guys free to charge you back. So that was my idea, and my opponent decided to flee. He fled not that far away, so I charged first with the chariot, and the dummies fled only a 6 with swift stride. I needed the 8 swift stride to catch him, and I catch him. So that was really, really nice, because now I am really in a good position. What I did wrong is I wanted to block the reform and the maximization he could do, and I decided to go as close as possible, and I think that was definitely very stupid, because then it didn't allow me to get some very good maneuver with the anointed to minimize even more. I did some minimization if he charged me. It doesn't get a lot of models in combat, but still 3 column, and I guess with better movement I could have at least give him 1 column less. So I think here that was again some good idea, very bad execution. And yeah, now that the steam tank committed to go after them, I was able to march them. I moved them 8 forward, and also I made some calculation. Next round I can do 8 again, and then use Relentless, so I can get 2 units within the breakthrough zone, which is nice because at the moment he has 1-2 as well. So that's the idea. And the Great Bull, with the extra movement, was able to go all the way towards the south, just to make sure that if you charge me, I get double counter charge. So I'm ready to go. These guys are bodyguard. The BSB is out of combat, so that was the most important, but could have done better, like I said. The magic phase, I tried to put a toxic breath onto the chariot, or onto myself actually, and he dispelled that one. Then I tried to put a grave call, but since they have magical resistance 3 and I didn't roll well enough, I failed that one. And then I decided to go defensive. I thought, you never know, divination mage might move out. I don't know what I saw exactly. I decided to put Twisted Effigy to block a little bit his magic phase. I don't know if I have anything else more interesting to do, to be honest. Maybe to put ward save on them would have been much better, I guess. Yeah, would have been much better. So bad decision here with Twisted Effigy, I guess. Again. Yeah, let's move on. He's turn 5, so he decided to take the charge against me. Yeah, and the dummies, to my surprise, didn't push. I really expected them to push and tell me, okay, next round if you charge me and don't break me straight away, I can charge you with dummies. I think that would have been a good move. Steam tank goes toward my vassal, and that's it. In the magic phase, he tried to get distracting with 4 dice, but I dispel with 5 dice, but then he gets a reroll to wound with that unit. It's close combat. He issue a challenge with the mage. I take it with my champion, and yeah, he did like 8 wounds to me. I did 3 back, but I passed the steadfast check, so overall I'm fine. Yeah, not the steadfast, the bodyguard check. I'm fine, and I'm ready to counter charge, so this will be big time. And here, just break me, I flee off the board. That's it. My turn 5, so I get double charge off. Kadim Chariot and Bull was pretty excited about that. Reform that way to get maximal model attacking, so yeah, that was going to be big time. These 2 guys continue to move towards the breakthrough zone, and now magic phase. I cast Hereditary in, so that gets nice reroll to wound for the Chariot and the Bull. Then I try to put a Toxic Breath onto the Chariot, which was potentially game breaking, but my opponent dispelled that, and then I put a ward save onto the anointed unit, try to protect them a little bit. And after that there was a big decision to make, so basically I had 2 options. First option was to try to keep what I told you at the beginning of the battle in the matchup analysis, which is, yeah, to my surprise he issued a challenge with the Locket of Suna guy. And I was surprised because the Bull should be fine against him. I could have taken it with the Bull, but then I thought, you know what, if I take it with the BSB, shouldn't die, right? And then if I attack with the Bull, flaming, reroll to wound because of the token, plus the Chariot, plus the breast weapon, and I can kill all of the units. It's 8 guys. There is no steadfast anymore, and that's the end of the game. So that's what I decided to do, which was very stupid, because I could have, since he had no counter charge, I think this could have been a possible play in case the dummies would have pushed forward and ready to counter charge, because I would have need to break them straight away, so why not? But in this case, I have time, should have taken it with the BSB, with the Great Bull of Shamut, kill the Divination Mage most likely, maybe in 2 turns, but in 1 turn I think most likely due to impact it and all the stuff, do some combat result, attack against the unit with the rest of the guys, and then break him the turn after. So that was, again, I think the very, very big mistake here. Completely forgot what I was just greedy to break them straight away. I thought with all the reroll to wound, but yeah, I mean, breast weapon is AP1, Luga guys on top are AP1, so he has a 2-up. 2-up is easy. Then I have the 2 hits Molten Copper, 5 attack strength 6, and 3 attack strength 6. That's not enough to kill so many guys. And what ended up happening is, in the challenge, luckily for me, he did nothing to my BSB. I was able to get like 2 or 3 regen 4+. So very lucky here. But then with the rest of the attack, I killed 7, and there is 1 guy left here. So yeah, he's steadfast, no problem. And he did a couple of wounds here, but he was able to pass the steadfast. And now I'm in a bad spot, because I have BSB in the challenge with the Locket of Suna for 2 turns. The guy remaining with like 1 wound is going to die, and now my bull is in contact with 1 guy, can only kill 1 in the combat result. Kalim Chariot in contact with the BSB, and yeah, that's it. So very stupid. His turn 6, he moves in the breakthrough. Yeah, Stank has nothing to do, and we are here in close combat. And yeah, Magic Phase also, since I didn't kill the mage with the bull, he also put a wounds to me with the lone guy here, but since I didn't kill the mage with the ball, now he has a very strong magic phase again. So he's able to get reroll to hit divine attack. He failed distracting. I dispel 2-time reroll to wound onto the unit, and then in close combat, so the bull kills the last guy. So that was important, because I can win scenario with that. He has only 1 scoring, I have 2. So that was nice. The chariot with molten copper hit did 1 wound to the BSB, and then my BSB took, I guess, 3 wounds against the Locket guy, which was bad. And also I lost the last wound here, so I was losing by 1, meaning I needed to take 8 rerollable here, 8 rerollable here, 8 rerollable here, and I passed all 3 of them. So yeah, that was also very scary. And my last turn, so I break through with both close magic. I get hereditary off to get some reroll to wound. He dispelled toxic breath, cast it with 4 dice. He dispelled with 5. Didn't want to risk the 5 dice cast here. Obviously, it might be potentially game breaking, but yeah, it has still guiding light off, so I'm not so sure it can kill him so easily. And if you lose the bull 1100 points for not taking that unit down, it's not worth it. So basically, it's like never worth it to cast 5 dice with the Great Bull of Shamut. So he dispelled the toxic breath, and I got nothing else off, just hereditary. Close combat, he kills the BSB. I put another wound to the BSB, and the bull wasn't able to attack because the mage was here. But in return, his marshal and prelate were unable to attack as well, and that's how we ended up. So I won the fight, I think, if I remember correctly, by 1, and he passes with -1, and yeah, rerollable with guiding light, and the BSB has still 1 wound remaining. So that's how we ended up, which ended up being an 11-9 since I won breakthrough. But as you can see, I lost a lot of guys because of bad decisions. So I lost the whole anointed unit, the bastion unit, a couple of vassals, Kadim Titan, some stuff, and he lost Sun Griffins, Double Rater, Electoral Cav, and Prelate, which makes it 11-9 for me. So yeah, that was a close one. Overall, I think what I can say is I can make some comparison with football. Sometimes in the qualification stage, for the World Cup, for example, you see some bad performance and still good results. So in this case, that was a bad performance with plenty of mistakes from my side, but still overall a good result because I get the 1-0 win. But yeah, I think after my deployment and the way I started the game, I should have been able to be much more in control of the game overall. So yeah, deployment I think overall was good. Counter charge setup was not bad, but I should have made better decision after to ensure that I get some nice charges with Anointed and that I can take advantage from him having to sacrifice an expensive cavalry unit to chaff me. I struggled a little bit to go through the armor, and I think overall what also annoyed me and led to bad decision was the fact also that since I didn't do much damage with the Bastion early on, I was after that under pressure because I had still a lot of bodies, and if you see at the end, if I would have killed 1-2 more with the Bastion, there would have been no steadfast at the right time, and then I could have been in a better position. So definitely also missing some wounds with the Bastion was a bit disturbing, but that can always happen with shooting. You can never rely on hitting on 5-up. Turn 2, wrong decision to charge with the not to charge with the Anointed. Completely rubbish play for me. And here, that's the worst one. Take the challenge with the BSB. Why did I do that? I mean, that is a screenshot from the matchup analysis that I did before the game, where I put underline, Bull doesn't care, BSB might find it annoying. What else can I do more? I mean, and then I take the challenge with the BSB. So I was really greedy, and now that's 2 games in a row where the BSB dies due to me making some crazy play with him. So completely rubbish. Token Anointed sitting in front of the Death Star. The idea was good. Execution was poor. I could have minimized the contact, put the champion only in the contact to avoid the character getting a lot of wounds. I could have done much better, and that would have saved all the points most likely of my Anointed and the BSB. Titan was too eager, tried to shoot the divination guy. 4 shot on 5-up, 2-up, and then he save on 5-up. It's very unlikely that I kill him. So taking that into account, I should have continued the game with dummies and just slow them down, because as you saw, there was a risk towards the end that he pushes with the dummies to my flank and get into a situation where he has a counter charge at the end of the game and where I'm in trouble. So considering that, I should have just continued the game, slow down the dummies. That's the role of the Titan. Shoot, try to force some panic, and that's it. Regarding the list, lack of CC buff at the time where I need it. I think that was a bit problem with my... it's not just a spell selection, because I think I hadn't much more to offer with the Witchcraft Adept. I didn't have really solution to get some additional tools. So here, definitely, that's a slight problem, but you cannot have everything. I decided to go with Witchcraft to get some protection, additional protection against divination, magic, and shooting, like cannon. In this case, that the result is that I cannot have some additional CC buff and also some nice fly and twisted effigy. Confirmation that Torque Anointed and the Bastion unit with bodyguard and the new Infernal Brand rule can take charges. They just need to ensure some good counter charges, which I was able to do in the later stages, but I wasn't able to do at the beginning, and that cost me Bastion unit. Volcanic Embrace, a new version, is very good against this kind of list, definitely. That was really nice. And I think a couple of mistakes on my opponent's part 2, in my opinion. First one was definitely on big level, the tank. I think the tank would have been much more threatening for me. Like in the middle of the line and going towards me, that would have been much more problem. Obviously, it avoided the Goblin Vassal to go towards the deployment zone, but him going backwards meant that 2 units were able to go forward. So if he would have been forward, maybe it would have been a way to avoid these 2 units and just get 1 in the back is not that problematic. So I think, that was one. The dummies later on was also a mistake, and obviously, he figured that out after. But the reform after combat doesn't allow you to charge the turn after, and that was also a big issue for him, because he could have been in a position to... I don't know if it would have been possible for him to... I think no, not to charge Kalim Titan, but I'm not sure. But definitely could have charged the Vassal or do other stuff. So, that was a bit of a problem for him to forgetting about that rule. But, I did plenty of mistakes. I think what saved me in this case is I have the feeling that on a macro level, I was pretty good deployed, and overall I followed more or less my game plan, and I did a lot of mistakes in the execution part, but still overall I was able to, due to the game plan and the additional resources that I had in the list, I was able to come back in the game, more or less. And yeah, overall, it was kind of hard for me sometimes to concentrate with a 1 month old baby crying next to me, also holding the baby sometimes, making some break during the game. So thanks a lot to Daniel for the understanding, because sometimes I had to make some sort of short break. But it's not an excuse, but because I knew that were the conditions for me for playing WTC this year, I knew that I wouldn't be fully focused and fully available for it. So thanks a lot to my opponent for the understanding first. And yeah, that's how it is, but I think that's also part of the reason why I've done so many mistakes, and in comparison to what I should have done usually. But yeah, luckily for me, I was able to escape with that one. I felt a bit lucky, definitely after this game, because it could have turned out very differently, and I will need to play better if I want to continue into this tournament, because yeah, it won't be possible to go very far with doing so many mistakes. So next game will be against Hughes Carlin. I think he's from UK, playing the Demon Legion MSU army that I showed you in the tournament introduction video. We'll be playing on all the ground, most likely next weekend. And until now, I got 2 wins, Hugh as well, so we are both qualified. It's just to determine who is going to be first spot, who is going to be second spot. And yeah, as I've told you, I will normally be playing this game on Warhol again and try to stream it live on my Discord channel. I've put a link in the last battle report for my Discord channel if you want to join, and I will communicate onto this Discord channel when is going to be the game scheduled, and then you can always try to also follow it live if you want to. I think it's enjoyable to follow Warhol game live, because there is also some 3D, bringing back some old memories of how was our game in 3D in live games. So yeah, that's it guys. I hope you like the battle report, and yeah, talk to you soon on my channel for the 3rd game of the group stage. Bye bye.